Hello and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video. Today you are joining me for a wildcard draft for game week 16. Now I know how important this is for some people and I'm doing it for a bit of a luxury position. I am inside the top 19,000 teams in the worldwide, so that's taking count. I did play my wildcard back in game week 12 and since then I started at 169,000 and I'm now inside the top 20,000. So look, I'm pretty happy with the way my wildcard has worked, and I think that the way I structure my team up is probably the way that a lot of people want to structure their teams up, particularly if you are going to be playing a wildcard in game week 16. So look, there are lots of things you need to be mindful of. So if you are new, please smash the subscribe button, and if you've been here before, you know what to do. Like the video, share it with your friends. Let's get this channel up and running. If you're following on audio and Spotify, then yeah, hopefully this is helpful for you as well. I don't think many people listen on Spotify for the wildcard draft, but if you do, by all means, join me. This is one of them things that, you know, you're just going to have to go with it and roll with it. So look, wildcard draft for game week 16. Man City fixtures are improving. Like they are. Man United are not a fixture that you should be worried about if you're a Man City owner. And look, some of their assets do look pretty damn good. So De Bruyne, Guardiola, Haaland, none of them actually make this wildcard draft, but there is reasons for that. I am obviously conscious of the fact that there are double game weeks coming up. Not so much for the Everton one, but mainly for the Liverpool one. And we will talk about that for a long time because you probably want to be tripling up on them when it comes to that double game week. And look, triple captain is definitely something that I will be looking to play on Mo Salah in that game week, provided he is fit. Budget forwards are still crucial to your team and working out what you want to do. I still favour a Jackson Isaac draft at the moment with a João Pedro. FYI, that's what's going to be in this wildcard draft. That is what I went with wildcard in game week 12. It's still something I think is definitely the play moving forward. They both of them have amazing fixtures for the foreseeable future, and I think that they essentially cost the same as an Erling Haaland. So I think Isaac's up to 8.6 now, and Jackson's up to 8.2. So give or take, they're slightly more than Erling Haaland, but you know, combined, they just look so good. And I think you can just, that's why having Haaland in your team just doesn't make any sense to me at the moment. So yeah, that's what I'd say based on that. Drafts do come down to personal preference and team value. I am very luxurious position of having a team value of 105.1 million. I think we'll double check that. I'm pretty sure I'm not making that up, but we will get to that. So you can't fit everyone in, and I really wish you could. But look, I think the template still is Saka, Palmer, Salah. I have seen people rocking triple Arsenal defence for the next 3 weeks. It does actually look pretty decent, but they're going to score goals as well, and Saka's going to be involved in that. So look, that's what I would counter with that. And obviously, if a goal does go in, it just rubs out your triple. I can understand the double defence. I'm not a massive fan of it myself, but for this particular draft, I have gone with it because I've looked at the fixtures and it's hard to see Arsenal and Liverpool conceding goals in the short term. So look, let's be honest. I actually do favour just going a double Liverpool defence over a double Arsenal defence, and I'll get into the reasons as to why that is as well in a little bit. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion at the moment. And obviously, it does depend. A lot of this does depend on whether Alisson is fit for Liverpool this week or not. If Alisson is fit, this draft changes completely, and I'll show you how it changes. And yeah, we'll go with that. But look, without further ado, let's get into it. What I'm looking at, what I'm thinking, and we'll start with the fixture difficulty rating as usual. So look, as I said, you need to be aware of the Arsenal runs. Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, Newcastle, Bournemouth, Brighton. Those are the teams you need to be aware of. Southampton, yes, they've got a really good run coming up according to the fixture difficulty rating. However, I wouldn't be going there. West Ham also a very good option here as well, particularly moving forward. Shout out to Mohamed Kudus, who I actually missed on the differential video yesterday. We will cover him very shortly. Yeah. So look, we'll just have a quick look at the status. I also like to look at who's potentially going to be rising in price. So you can see there's Saliba, Isaac, Palmer, Mo Salah, Enzo. All in the top transfers in so far. I will be covering that tomorrow in tomorrow's video. So please come back tomorrow if you want to hear about who I think is a good buy and sell. I'm not going to be covering it right now. And then the transfers out, Welbeck, Haaland, Watkins, Gabriel, and Lewis. So look, just need to be aware of them. If you've got any of those players in your team, you probably want to be moving them out, or you should have moved them out already if you are on wildcard, because they're likely to drop in price, would be my guess. And you can bring them back at a cheaper price if you want to keep them long term. All right, so let's have a look at my team. So this is my team currently. So I've actually got 2 free transfers, and let's just go into how this would factor into a wildcard draft for this week. So that's what I've got currently. All right. So there are a number of problems there. Obviously, Verbruggen has not been keeping clean sheets, and you would argue that I've only got 1 Arsenal defender and I've got nothing from Liverpool. I'm aware of this. It's something I am looking to address with my 2 free transfers this particular game week. I just want a bit more information before I make a transfer. But the problem is that the player I really would probably move to bring in a Liverpool defender this week is Matoma down to Enzo Fernandez. And that would mean I'd then have to sell Colwill, where really I want to sell Aït-Nouri. But I've already tripled up on Chelsea assets. So, unfortunately, that's just the move I would have to make. So without further ado, let's have a look at the actual team I would be bringing in. So, spoiler alert, this is what I go to. So let's just talk it through. So at the moment, Raya starts in goal. Now, I've actually got 0.4 million left here in the bank. So, yeah, I haven't actually made that many changes from the team I've actually currently already got. But there's a few different things that would happen potentially if Alisson was fit, and I'll talk you through them very shortly. Because I'd probably only go, I'd go to Liverpool defence. I'm not sure actually what I'd do. We'll get into that in a second. So because at the moment it's not relevant. So in this one, I've actually tripled up on Liverpool and Arsenal, and I've gone double defence in both. So that way in your lineups you would start with a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 depending on the game week. It's really up to you. For the potential future, I'd probably go with a 3-5-2 and probably leave João Pedro on the bench in this draft for this week. Even though they've got Crystal Palace at home, I just think Brentford away, they don't travel very well, and I feel like Enzo Fernandez probably outscores João Pedro. But then you might think that Matoma doesn't outscore João Pedro. It's really up to you. It's one of them weird ones where you're going to have to think about your defence and everything moving forward. I don't like the really budget defence, and like I could put a Burgess in and drop like a Kirkes or a Hall lower down, but I think that their fixtures are just so good that you'd like to rotate them, particularly if Gomez does become a bit of a minutes risk. He is in there. I'm not convinced long term he's going to be in there, especially once Canardi's back. Realistically, I'd like a Canardi, but he just doesn't seem to stay fit for long enough. So look, Raya starts in goal. If you want, you've got Fabianski there to rotate, but the fixtures for Raya are just so good moving forward. Like, you do have to have an Arsenal defender, and I do have Julian Timber in my team, so I am covering the defence. But like the next 3 weeks do look delicious, and like I'm not going to lie, it's hard not to recommend a double up on last Arsenal defence for the next 3 weeks. Surely they keep 3 clean sheets there. I'd be shocked if they didn't, to be honest. And they just look good long term. I can see why lots of people are recommending them. I hate spending up money on defence because it's just been so. There was 1 clean sheet this weekend out of 18 teams. 17 teams conceded a goal, including Arsenal. So just keep that in mind. I don't know if spending up is the right idea, but I think it is potentially. I think that the fixtures are going to change, and we are going to see those clean sheets come in for Liverpool and Arsenal, which is why I've gone with this draft this week. So Julian Timber obviously starts there. Here's the second cheapest way into the Arsenal defence behind Raya. He actually does cost 5.6. It's likely to be 5.7 by the time this video comes out, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, look, he looks nailed on, and I don't think he's their best right back and best left back as far as I'm concerned moving forward. So yeah, I just really like him in general. So yeah, we'll go with him. Virgil van Dijk comes in because I just can't justify spending 6.9 mil on Trent Alexander-Arnold, thinking that he potentially might be rested at some point when Bradley comes back. So 6.4 mil, he's going to play 90 minutes literally every single game week. He hasn't missed a minute of Premier League football this season, and he does have that threat from set pieces. I just like him. As a Liverpool defender, I think he is the one. Like Andy Robertson potentially could save you some money. If you wanted to save some money there, you could get him in, maybe 5.9. He's also a pretty good look, I reckon, moving forward. Hall makes it as well. His underlying stats have been okay. He is rising in price. He's likely to get to 4.5 very shortly this week and make me some money with some luck. So that's very nice. And like their fixtures coming up are pretty damn nice from an attacking perspective. I just don't know how many clean sheets Newcastle keep, but I'm hoping it's a few. And then obviously Joe Gomez comes in. He did start again against Newcastle, and I would expect him to start moving forward. until Canade comes back, and then Canade probably just walks straight back into the team once he's fit. But if you wanted really cheap option, and he's going to play 60 minutes hopefully every week, and hopefully get you some clean sheets, which will be nice. In the midfield, it is always got to be a Saka, Palmer, Salah draft at the moment. I think you've just got to have all three. You've got to cover all three. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't. In my team currently, I obviously have Bruno Fernandes and Matoma in there. Bruno's likely to stay because I really like him as a long-term pick. And like maybe you could argue that Bruno's actually a better pick than Saka moving forward. I'm not sure. I can't say that with any confidence, which is why he's not in this draft. But Enzo Fernandez is here as the enabler. And look, his stats the last 5 weeks have been absolutely amazing. And I think that that's definitely something that you need to factor into your teams. And look, the stats don't lie. His expected goal involvement per 90 now is 0.15 for the season, 0.22 expected assists per 90 for the season. He is now back in the team. That's 4 games in a row, 90 minutes played. I think it's safe to say he's back, and he's going to rise in price, and he's a great budget enabler, especially with the sea of green coming up for Chelsea. There's no reason to think that he can't sustain this run with the way that he's now currently being played in the Chelsea team. I love him. And I think he has to be in there as the budget enabler. He is definitely the best. I mean, you could look at Ahmad, Souček, Damsgaard, and all these if you wanted someone a bit different in order to get a Chelsea defender in. 100%. They're probably going to do about the same. They're going to cost about the same. But he, for me, is the one at the moment that I really like the look of. Matoma obviously makes it as well. There is a world where you can get Jared Bowen in here instead. I just think that Brighton's long-term run is better. And that's why Matoma makes it here. I mean, there's a world where you get rid of Nicholas Jackson in this draft as well. I think Isaac is the one to have over Nicholas Jackson, only because of the fact that I just think that he's hitting some sort of run of form at the moment. I mean, he should have scored more on the weekend against Brentford, but he didn't. He was unlucky just to get the one goal, but it is what it is. But like moving forward, he's got a beautiful run of fixtures, does Isaac, and it's hard not to see him leaving my team until game week 25. Even then, he might stay. But he's looking pretty good for most of the rest of the season, Isaac, now. So if he gets on that run like he did last year, he's going to be staying there in my team. And Haaland will probably never come back, if I'm being brutally honest. Nicholas Jackson, he is really good. However, I don't know. The fact that he didn't play that Southampton game puts me off a bit, knowing that over this particular week here, Sunday to Tuesday, he might miss that game against Fulham at home. Or he could miss one of these other ones against Everton and Ipswich. That concerns me. And he's still obviously on that yellow card tightrope. He's got 3 more weeks to survive. Can he do it? He may actually just miss another game in there like rest, which would be frustrating. And that's the only reason why I potentially would change that up. And then obviously João Pedro makes it. So look, if I was a little bit concerned about this now, if Alisson was fit, Raya would definitely be coming out and Alisson would be coming in. A Becker. So he would be in instead of Raya, and then Gomez would 100% be gone. And that would become realistically, it's a Gabriel or a Saliba at the moment, because Gabriel was a little bit under the weather. We're not 100% sure what's going to go on there. That means I then need to find 0.7 mil. So then this is where Mr. Jackson makes way and Mr. Wood comes back into the team. Because I don't mind Chris Wood moving forward. He actually looks pretty damn good. So then that still leaves you a bit of money in the bank, 0.8 mil. And then you could what do I want to do instead? That's when a Matoma can become someone else. Let's have a look at the midfielders. 7.3 I can afford. That's really annoying because I would really like a Jared Bowen. Actually, I'm not sure there's a way I can actually get Jared Bowen in. So 7.3, it's annoying because realistically 7.4 would be brilliant. Luis Diaz, by the way, has dropped to 7.4 mil. I've only just noticed that. That's mad, considering he went up so high and now he's come back down. You could actually potentially get an Anthony Gordon in there. I actually think I prefer that moving forward. So look, that is what you could do. Like with my team value, I'm quite blessed. I still think that you need a double Arsenal, double Liverpool defence potentially over the coming weeks. They do have the easier teams. And if you can afford to do it, then it's brilliant. Like, as I said, compared to my team, and my team currently, I think I really rate, and I'm not overly concerned. I feel like my defenders have got fairly okay fixtures for the short term. 8 Nori, as I said, is the only one I'm really concerned about. And I think Colwell will keep points moving forward, which is why, but that's what I'd be going with. If I was wildcarding in game week 16, I think this is the lineup I'd go with. Like Chris Wood, as I said, he has come through. Like, scoring against Man United was huge for him because I think the next 3 weeks he's playing teams that don't overly defend that well, so which means that the returns might keep coming. Like the Liverpool game in game week 21 is the one I'm concerned about, and then probably from game week 26 onwards. 26 to 28 doesn't look flash, but then he's pretty good again. So I feel like potentially if we've held him this long, he could be worthy of a hold continuing moving forward. He's just been good. He's been very consistent this season. So, look, keep that in mind. Let me know in the comments if I've missed anyone that you think should be in. I mean, Mohamed Kudus you could probably put in there instead of Matoma. And I'm going to look him up because he's been stiff. He missed out on the differential video yesterday, but in reality, he got an assist. His expected goal involvement against Leicester was huge as well. And he's got a nice little run of fixtures here. So Mohamed Kudus, if you want to save some money, 6.2. That's a good way of getting Jackson back into the team. Yeah, so look, plenty of things to think about there. But look, that's what I've come up with. Game week 16, let me know if you're wildcarding. Let me get involved in the comments and let me know what you think of this particular draft this week. Thanks for watching. Join you tomorrow for transfer tips. That's the D Unit.